Hey everyone, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. You know, next to Alan Menken, Howard Ashman, Stephen Schwartz, and Stephen Flaherty, one of my favorite musical theater composers would have to be Andrew Lloyd Webber. For those who don't know, due to my experience with Musical Theater Village, Webber collaborated with Tim Rice on such classic shows like Jesus Christ Superstar and Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. However, one of his most famous musicals, in my opinion, would have to be The Phantom of the Opera. But for more information on that, I'll have to save that for a future October. Anyway, for this episode, I want to talk about Webber's eccentric and bizarre musical from 1981, Cats. Based on the 1939 poetry collection Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats by T.S. Eliot, the show tells the story of a tribe of cats known as the Jericles, and the very night that they make the Jericle choice, deciding which cat will ascend to the Heaviside layer and come back for a new life. I was first introduced to the show during my high school drama classes, and while I haven't really seen the stage version yet, I gotta say, the soundtrack is very unique and very mysterious, if I do say so myself. Plus, I have heard that Cats has been referenced in such medias like Toy Story 3 and My Little Pony. However, several years ago, I rented a 1998 film version of Cats from Netflix. And, in my opinion, it didn't really feel too much like a movie. It felt more like a live version that was filmed on stage. But, just last year, director Tom Hooper did his own film adaptation for the big screen, and I understand that a lot of you guys out there don't really like it, but what do I have to say about it? Well, we're about to find out. Released on December 20th, 2019, the movie is Cats. So, let's get started. Like in the show, the movie follows the Jellicles, who meet every year for their annual Jellicle Ball to decide which one of them should ascend to the Heaviside layer. In essence, Cats rapidly introduces more and more Jellicles until we find out which cat is chosen. So, what do I think? Well, I never really saw it in theaters, though I wanted to. I just got distracted by Target shifts, Scrooge shows, and Christmas plans. But thankfully, just a few days ago, I managed to buy this movie on Blu-ray from Amazon, and after finally watching it, I felt really surprised. Yes, folks, I enjoyed it, and I don't really think it's as bad as most folks think. But let's move on to Mustang notes. An animated film adaptation based on the musical was initially planned by Steven Spielberg's studio Amblimation in the 1990s, but it was sadly abandoned with the studio's closure. In December 2013, Andrew Lloyd Webber, creator and composer of the musical stage production, teased that Universal Studios had purchased the film rights to Cats many years earlier and was putting the production into active development. In February 2016, it was reported that Tom Hooper, who previously directed Les Miserables in 2012, was in negotiations to direct the movie. In May 2016, Hooper was confirmed as director, with Lee Hall in charge of the screenplay. In January 2018, Hooper and Working Title began casting for the film, while looking into the technical aspect of whether the film would be entirely live action or computer generated, or a mix of both. The film used extensive visual effects to convert the live action actors into computer animated cats. Companies that worked on the film include Technicolor SA subsidiaries, Milfilm, and MPC. To aid this, the actors performed in motion capture suits with tracking dots on their costumes and faces. The bodies of the cat characters were rendered with digital fur, which was blended with the actors' actual faces. Also to note, substantial work on the VFX for the cats was performed at MPC Vancouver, which had previously worked on redoing the visual effects for Sonic the Hedgehog. The film's visuals were completed just hours before its premiere. Principal photography began on December 12, 2018, and was wrapped up on April 2nd, 2019. But, unfortunately, after getting tons of negative reviews and grossing about $76 million out of its $95 million budget, the movie became a box office bomb. Now, what do I have to say about the visuals? Well, to me, the scenery in the London streets is pretty good, and I think it's very mysterious, with the story taking place mostly at night. Also, the abandoned Egyptian theater looks pretty good too. As for the actors, well, compared to how they look in the stage and 1998 film versions, I do applaud this movie for trying to do something different, but to me, the motion capture effects, while making everybody look like humanoid cats along with mice and cockroaches, it doesn't really look too bad, just a tad bizarre. But thankfully, it didn't make me feel uncomfortable, except for that one scene where the cats are going through trash cans just to get food. Okay, I know it's in the cat's nature, but I think it's still gross. But, on the positive side, I think the way everybody dances is absolutely outstanding. Also, some of my favorite songs in the movie include the naming of cats, the moments of happiness, Jellicle songs, and of course, Memory. And also to note, the finale scene in Trafalgar Square makes me think back to 10 years ago when me and my sister had a photo on one of the lion statues. And now, let's move on to the cast. Let's begin with Victoria, the white cat, played by English ballerina Francesca Hayward, who was a dancer at the Royal Ballet at Covent Garden in London. In my honest opinion, Francesca did a wonderful job for her first film role. Plus, I think her portrayal as Victoria is not only a lovely feline, but her dancing is just amazing. Next we have the semi-wizard cat, Mr. Mistopheles, played by Laurie Davidson. I find this character to be a very flashy showman. He is portrayed as a young cat who is not yet able to fully control his magical powers due to him being nervous and unsure of himself. Though I did like the part where he saves Victoria from a dog, and when he used his magic to save old Deuteronomy from the cavity. Speaking of which, next we have old Deuteronomy, played by Judi Dench, whom I've talked about in my blogs of Disney's Home on the Range, and, of course, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. This character serves as the Jellicle Patriarch, who makes the Jellicle choice choosing which cat will ascend to the Heaviside layer. To me, Deuteronomy is a wise leader, and she provides comfort and guidance to the other characters. Jenny Annie Dots, the Gumby cat, is played by Rebel Wilson, best known from the Pitch Perfect trilogy. This is a character who is kind of similar to Garfield. She's lazy by day, but she springs into energy at night to boss around mice and cockroaches. Next we have Rum Tum Tugger, played by Jason Derulo. This guy is a rebellious and unappeasable cat who loves the limelight, while at the same time, he enjoys being seen as an individual by separating himself a little from the tribe. Next is Bustopher Jones, played by James Corden, who got to be in Into the Woods, Trolls, and Peter Rabbit. Bustopher is an upper-class cat known for his fine dining, and he enjoys life to the fullest. However, at the first sign of trouble, he leaves as swiftly as he can. Our next character is Gus, aka Asparagus, the theater cat, played by Ian McKellen, who got to be in the Lord of the Rings / Hobbit trilogies and the 2017 live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast. Gus is an old, frail, yet revered cat who suffers from palsy, which makes his paws shake. He also loves reminiscing about his history as a stage actor. We also have Bombalurina, played by Taylor Swift, who got to voice Audrey in The Lorax. Bombalurina is a flirtatious, confident, and mischievous cat. And she also likes to flirt with many male cats. To me, I kind of like this character due to the fact that I like Taylor Swift's cover of Beautiful Ghosts and her McCavity song. Next up is Grizabella, the glamour cat, played by Jennifer Hudson, who was in Dreamgirls and will soon play Aretha Franklin in Respect. Grizabella is a character who lost her sparkle and is currently hated by the other Jellicles. To me, Grizabella is a sympathetic character due to her being lonely and left with only the memories of her happier days. And she hopes to one day return to the tribe in order to seek reacceptance. Next is McCavity, the mystery cat, played by Idris Elba, who got to be in Zootopia, Prom Night, and The Dark Tower. This guy is a master criminal who possesses mystical powers and is feared by most Jellicles. Throughout the show, McCavity has been doing all sorts of creepy mischief, like kidnapping several other cats. Other characters in the movie include the caretaker cat, Jelly Lorum, played by Freya Rowley, and the railway worker cat, Skimbleshanks, played by Stephen McRae. And now, let's move on to my final words. Overall, Cats from 2019 is not a bad movie in my opinion, but it was pretty strange and weird. But at the same time, it was interesting, mysterious, and surprising. Sure, the CGI and motion capture effects weren't 100% good, but it was still nice that it was different from the stage version. Plus, some of the songs were not only show-stopping and spectacular, but they were also eccentric and emotional. Plus, I think all the actors did a great job singing each song, and the dances were absolutely remarkable. As for my rating, I give this movie a 61% out of 100. And I just hope that someday, after this coronavirus dies, I can finally see Cats on stage soon. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me again next time, because I have another cat-related film to share with you. But this time, this will be a Japanese anime film from Studio Ghibli. Mustang Power.